It is about that time. Yes, Chiefs Kingdom, we are officially 24 hours from the Kansas City Chiefs unveiling the banners and kicking off the season against the Detroit Lions. Today, I will preview the game and I will give you some of my things that I will be heavily zoned in on to kick off the season. Now with that, let's cut the chit chat and let's have some fun. Football is back and it's music to my ears as we are literally less than 24 hours away from the Detroit Lions and Kansas City Chiefs kicking off. You don't even got to be a fan of these two teams. If you're a fan of the NFL, you will be tuned in, and I am eager, I'm hyped, and I am ready to go. And also, if you don't know, now you know, I will be going live to kick off the game and going play by play, chat by chat, covering the Kansas City Chiefs and just discussing good football. So please be sure to hit that bell icon so you do not miss out on that. But what are we doing here today? I'm going to give you my perspective on what I feel the Kansas City Chiefs should zone in week one, both on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. So let's get into all of that. Now to kick this off, I'm going to start with the Kansas City Chiefs offense going up against this Detroit Lions defense. And yes, when you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs offense, the main focus point and what everyone zones in on is Patrick Mahomes. And at the end of the day, we know what he's going to do. He has never not started a season off on fire. And I don't expect any different here. So I'm not going to pinpoint him, but I'm going to zone in on this offensive line and our two new tackles. We already know about the interior. They're solidified. They're studs. They're dogs. They are going to eat. But our two new guys, veterans, and we expect them to be dogs, they got a tough challenge to start off the season against Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston. We saw what Aiden Hutchinson did in his rookie year. He is as advertised, and he is going to be on a mission to start his sophomore campaign on a hot streak. But another quiet guy is James Houston. He is a silent killer for the Detroit Lions when he ended his season with 8 sacks. The Detroit Lions have something special with their pass rushers, and it's going to be a solid test for Jawan Taylor and Donovan Smith. But if they can hold them, and then this interior does what they're used to doing, that will be a huge, promising view for the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward. Because the key focus was Donovan Smith and can he replace Orlando Brown Jr.? I fully believe it. I think Donovan Smith, when healthy, which he is at the moment, could be a top 10 left tackle in this league. I don't care about age. I don't care what he did last year. He was an all-pro left tackle in this league when healthy. He's healthy now. I expect to be him on full form, and he's got a huge challenge against Hutchinson, and you better be tuned in. But of course, the main focus point and questions throughout the last couple days is Travis Kelce. Now, we do got some positive reports because from his brother and coming out of multiple sources too saying that it's just could be a bone bruise, nothing too serious, but they just got to focus on the knee swelling. And there is a chance of him playing. Now, I'm still on the fence. Even if he can go, but it is still lingering, I'm okay with him missing this week because the Kansas City Chiefs got a plethora of weapons. And maybe it is time to display them. There's a reason for the depth. Let's showcase it. And one guy who I don't feel has been getting enough of love through this offseason, and most definitely should, is our hero in the AFC Championship game, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He is the veteran. It's his second year going into this offense. He's got a good repertoire with Patrick Mahomes. And one thing that they struggled on last year that I feel has been much improved through this offseason and training camp is the deep ball. We've seen the connection. And something tells me that Mahomes is going to try to connect deep with MVS. And don't be shocked if you see that 50, 60-yard bomb flying deep and everyone's going to be like, okay, he don't have Kelce, he don't have Hill, and possibly he doesn't have the defensive tackle stud in Chris Jones. What can you do to stop him? He's him. It's it's going to be unstoppable. It really will be. And I'm excited to see Marquez go out there and be introduced into his second year. Because, like I said, a lot of people are literally sleeping on him. When we talk about wide receiver number ones, we mention guys like Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, even Justin Ross. But no one talks about MVS. Rightfully so too, but he is a good, reliable possession receiver who can get you a very great catch when it's crucial, or he can break the top off of someone. And just like the AFC Championship game, when his number is called upon, which it could be in this game, it could be his time to show out. But let's also focus on the wide receivers and not just MVS. Sky Moore. This is your time to put up or shut up as well too, and we all anticipate him to have a big year too. Well, I expected him to get a few catches this game, but now with Kelsey being injured and possibly not playing, you might see the ball flying your way a lot more. I was joking yesterday when I thought, hey, 100 targets may be the minimum for Sky Moore, but it may not be that crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if the Kansas City Chiefs in tomorrow's game and Sky Moore has 10 targets. I don't think that's an absurd thing whatsoever. And surprise, surprise, a guy I didn't think who was going to play in this game, Kadarius Toney. He looks like he is full steam ready to go. Now again, I don't know what the snap count's going to be, but green light. He participated and practiced fully today, and he is not on the injury report anymore. So that is a huge positive. It's nothing like I expected. So I'm excited to see these receivers move forward. Whether Kelsey's there or whether he is not, I feel like this offense is gonna be clicking. But the whole key to this offense that I feel a lot of people aren't focusing on, and I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs can take a huge advantage of as well, is another guy we're welcoming back. Well, we welcomed him back in the third week of the preseason, but it is running back, that grown man, Isaiah Pacheco. One thing the Detroit Lions struggled on defense last year, well, they struggled immensely on defense throughout the whole year, but you could eat them up the middle and run the ball. If Coach Reed decides to flip the game plan just because Kelsey is out and focus strictly on the run, I can see Isaiah Pacheco just letting loose and going off and starting the season off with a 100-yard game. And honestly, that may be the smart way to go. It ain't conservative because no one can see it coming. And also, break the dude out. He's a grown man. He was out for the whole preseason and training camp. I don't think a lot of people will anticipate it. And also, the Kansas City Chiefs can use their running backs to their advantage as well because you still got Jerick McKinnon, who is a reliable receiver too. That is something that a lot of people got to focus on, and as Chiefs Kingdom as well. Yes, you might miss Kelsey, but you got a reliable MVS and a reliable Jerick McKinnon, and you got this depth and a running game with the Detroit Lions defense that is unproven. They got talent, but they're unproven. The Kansas City Chiefs can have a day. Now, let's flip sides of the ball. We're going to focus on this Kansas City Chiefs defense taking on this Detroit Lions offense. And don't play no slouch to this Detroit Lions offense because if you're going to be in a shootout, they can go tit for tat, toe to toe with you and put up the same amount of points. And the main focus is going to be what are the Kansas City Chiefs going to do to get through that Detroit Lions offensive line and get to Jared Goff without Chris Jones. Now, I might have a different role reversal here too, where maybe you don't have to go after Jared Goff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, Spags will draw up his blitzes, but a quiet and sneaky thing the Kansas City Chiefs did last year was that secondary. All those rookies showed up and put out and closed up everyone. And going into their second year, for the majority of all of them, they all look to take a huge leap. And I'm excited to see these dudes perform. And one thing to get to the quarterback is if you play lockdown defense on these receivers and Goff can't find nobody, that pocket's going to end up collapsing. So Trent McDuffie, Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, and yes, L'Jarius Sneed, another full participant, surprisingly to me, someone who's missed the majority of training camp and preseason, practiced fully, and he is off the injury report as well. That DB room is loaded. And then you got guys in the safety position as Justin Reed, Brian Cook, and Chamari Connors. These young studs, Hey, people could say they're unproven, but they made a name for themselves last year to help the Kansas City Chiefs win a Super Bowl. If they take that leap, they can be something special. And if they play lockdown defense, that just gives plenty of time for guys like George Karlaftis to make his move and get after Jared Goff. And I think that's a perfect prime position, because when you focus on a guy like George Karlaftis, what is the thing that was highlighted throughout his rookie year? High motor. He doesn't know when to stop. He is relentless. He's going to find his way to get after the quarterback. So if the secondary plays locked down, he's going to beat his man. Give him time. He will get there as well. And then also focusing on what the Detroit Lions have as weapon pieces. You can't ignore Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a stud. He's one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. And if you ask the Kansas City Chiefs, if you're playing one-on-one matchup, you would probably think it's going to be Snead against Brown. But I don't know if I like that matchup. If it was me personally, I'm putting him on McDuffie Island and letting them boys go at it and just have fun with it. And if you basically can lock up Brown, you're playing one-on-one with everyone else and just have a field day. But I think the Detroit Lions' secret weapon that they're going to try to use, which we've heard ever since they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, is what is Jahmyr Gibbs? From the coaching staff to reporting, he's basically going to create a new position for him. I don't know what that means, but best believe they're going to try to unveil it against the Super Bowl champs. So expect Jahmyr Gibbs to line up as a wide receiver, tight end, maybe quarterback. I don't know what this new position means, but they're going to try to get Gibbs the ball. And best believe the Kansas City Chiefs are well aware of that, because they were heavily interested in Gibbs. And they know what kind of difference maker and playmaker he is. They got a solid two-headed back as well with Gibbs and Montgomery. And something that the Kansas City Chiefs struggled in last year was stopping the run. And this is where you may miss Chris Jones. But also, this linebacking core, they can stuff some people. And with newly acquired Drew Tranquill, it's going to be fun to watch. You got Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill, Willie Gay, Leo Chanel. Expect some special packages for Spags to draw up to make sure Gibbs doesn't go crazy in the receiving game, and somehow, some way they get in the backfield to stop the run. I think this is going to be more of a highly exciting, anticipated game than a lot of people expect. Now, prediction-wise, of course, I'm going to choose the Kansas City Chiefs. Who would I not be to do that? But I'm going to keep it more realistic than maybe a lot of Kansas City Chiefs fans would. Honestly, let's sit back. Let's think about this. We've watched the Kansas City Chiefs from time in and time out. This can be one of those games where it won't surprise me if the Kansas City Chiefs start off slow and the Detroit Lions get a slim lead, maybe even a 10, go up 10 against them. But then the Kansas City Chiefs click. They show their experience, and then they get rolling, and then at the end of the day, they pull out a victory. I think a final score of this game of like a 31-28 fits perfectly and basically seals banner night and starts the Kansas City Chiefs off at 1-0. But you let me know, Chiefs Kingdom. Give me your game predictions on how you think the season will start. With that, I'm signing off. But before I do, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you did like this video, please leave that big thumbs up. I'm checking out. Y'all take care. Peace.